The following video and very existence of this channel is made possible by your support over on patreon.com/616entertainment. I couldn't do this without you, and I thank you kindly for keeping the dream alive. Want a kick-ass shirt? Head on over to prowrestlingtees.com/616entertainment and pick one up. In the long and storied history of video games based on professional wrestling, we've got a little bit of everything spread across the all-time tier list. Titles like 2003's WWE SmackDown Here Comes the Pain on the PlayStation 2, or 2000's WWF No Mercy on the Nintendo 64 can be slotted anywhere around the very top. I mean, that's where you'd put them if you had a brain in your head. Games like TNA Impact or Saturday Night Slam Masters are a little more niche, but are nowhere near the bottom of the barrel. That's a zone that plays host to offerings like Simpsons Wrestling and... Jesus, Simpsons Wrestling might be the worst of the worst. I've done retrospectives on literally every game I just mentioned. The links are in the description, but we are not here today to retread old ground. Today, for the first time ever, Triangle X Squared Circle crosses the line into Microsoft territory, with the very first wrestling game ever released on the Xbox, WWF RAW. Does this 2002 title find itself near the top with the No Mercies of the world? Does it land somewhere in the middle? Or will it fall flat on its face on the way to the ring with Simpsons Wrestling? There's only one way to find out. Oh, what's up, Dan-Dans? My name is Ian. Welcome to another episode of Triangle X Squared Circle, the wrestling game retrospective series. Now, as I stated at the end of the last episode, I would love to cover the entire Xbox trilogy, as I call it, that being WWF RAW, WWE RAW 2, and WWE WrestleMania 21. Now, that'll be a ton of work, and I have to buy all of these games as I don't own any of them. So if you're not already signed up over on patreon.com/616entertainment, please consider doing so. You can help keep 616 Entertainment alive. You can help 616 Entertainment grow if you so desire. Now, I don't take any sponsors or anything like that. What you just heard is going to be my one and only commercial for my content. So thank you for hearing me out, and I feel like now is a pretty good time to jump into the topic at hand here today. Let's get to it. I'll keep this part short for the sake of the audience that watches every episode. I've been a PlayStation guy since the PS1 days. I've never owned an Xbox console in my life. As a matter of fact, the Xbox that I've used to capture all of this gameplay was lent to me by longtime Dan Kiko Olvera, which I greatly appreciate. Thanks, Kiko. I'm not anti-Xbox by any means. I'm not a console wars guy. In fact, I find the whole console wars thing to be childish and unbearably annoying. Play whatever you want. It just so happens that Xbox doesn't have anything that I really want to play. So don't get it twisted. I'm not burying Halo or Gears of War or anything. That's just not my scene. Now, 2002 is the year at hand here today. A great year for wrestling, a great year for video games, and maybe it was a great year for wrestling games. Let's take a look at the particulars. Over on the GameCube, there was WWE WrestleMania X8, a game with one of the best iterations of Hell in a Cell to this day. PlayStation 2 owners were all over WWE SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, a title that many would put at the top of the tier list. There was Fire Pro Wrestling 2 and Road to WrestleMania X8 on the Game Boy Advance, Legends of Wrestling 2 on almost everything. I'll stop there. There was a little something for everybody, and that's before we set our eyes on WWF RAW for the Xbox. I always say everybody deserves a great game in their favorite genre, regardless of which console you happen to own. I love that MLB The Show is no longer PlayStation exclusive. Switch owners, Xbox owners, PC owners, there's no consumer-friendly reason that they shouldn't have a great baseball game to play. And now, they do. Gamers who jumped on board with Xbox in 2001, hey, maybe they got an Xbox in place of a PlayStation 2. Maybe they bought an Xbox rather than buying a GameCube. Listen, I know in my house, we were a one console household. We didn't have the money for multiple consoles. So Xbox players who were wrestling fans were looking for either an equivalent to or the killer of the SmackDown titles. They were looking for a game that would stand up to WrestleMania X8. Was WWF RAW that game? Let's first focus on some of the standout positives of WWF RAW. Look at these camera angles, man. There's camera work at play here that hasn't been seen in any wrestling game before or after Raw's release. It's very clear that a true-to-television look and feel is what the team were going for. And just from these entrances, I don't think anyone can say that they didn't nail it. When I say the team, or they in this regard, I'm talking about the game's developer, Anchor Inc. Quick pit stop from gameplay features for a second, just to add some background. Anchor Inc. did not last long in the game development space, but if you've played the original UFC title on the Sega Dreamcast, Pride FC on the PlayStation 2, or maybe even Toy Fighter in arcades, you've got some experience with their work. Now back to Raw. On top of the camera work, the overall look of the arena at large is still extremely impressive. Some may call this game blurry looking or hazy, but dude, that's what it looked like in a WWF arena 20 years ago. There was so much pyro back then that this murky, almost casino-like look of the smoke hanging in the air, that's accurate. This is also the only game I've ever seen where the area off the stage and to the sides of the ramp looks functional, as if people actually work here. It's not just a tall wall coming up off the cement floor. There are staircases on either side of the stage, and yes, you can walk up them. The equipment trunks that we saw in backstage segments every week on television are here in the game, and guess what? We can break them open like treasure chests, as each trunk contains a weapon. Have you ever seen a spiked dog collar as a weapon? Well, you have now. Steel chairs come in red, gold, blue, the announce desk is breakable, and on the topic of furniture, how about the two types of tables, black and brown? Now, is there a difference? Yeah, one's black, one's brown, duh. More on tables later. Several WWE games have included Undertaker's motorcycle entrance, but how many of them also had Taker leaving on the bike after a victory? How many games included Raven's shopping cart full of weapons as a part of his entrance? How many times have you seen Big Show duck in order to fit his tall-ass head under the Titantron? These are tiny, tiny details, but they make a difference. Now, if you're watching this video and you're wondering why I'm spending so much time on these tiny details, it's because that's kind of all WWF RAW has going for it. Look, this gameplay is not going to set the world on fire. These match types and gimmicks are... I mean, let's just take a look. It is no exaggeration when I say this. It feels like each wrestler has about 4 moves in their arsenal. Now, that's not entirely factual. There are more than 4 because the moves change depending on whether you grappled a ready or groggy opponent, but still, it's shallow. Very shallow. The overall physics just feel off. It's like we're wrestling on the moon. I put over the television-style presentation of the entrances, and to be fair, we do have picture-in-picture replays during matches, which is another first-time ever feature, but the cameras during the matches are ridiculous. Why are we so tight on the action? Sometimes you can't even tell we're in a wrestling ring. Between the ropes being cut out of the shot and the gray canvas under our feet, we may as well be fighting on a slab of cement. Viewers with keen eyes may notice that every clip I've shown you so far has taken place in the Monday Night Raw arena. Now, if you know me and you watch my videos, you've recognized that I explore every arena there is to give the video as much visual variety as possible. Well, I'm doing the same thing here. I'm giving you all the variety there is. The Raw arena is the only arena in the game. No SmackDown, no pay-per-views, not even Sunday Night Heat, which is just the Raw arena with orange logos. Zero, I mean zero effort went into lending any sort of variety to the settings, which is incredible. I used the word shallow when it came to the grappling mechanics, but Man, arena-wise, this game's a puddle of piss. I guess I have to acknowledge that if you play a King of the Ring tournament, they did throw logos on the Tron and the ropes are black, but God almighty, is that the best they could do? Especially since King of the Ring in this era had such a cool stage! Alright, let's change gears. When it comes to match types, it's 2002, you know? Obviously we've got one-on-one, hardcore, tag team, triple threat, fatal four-way, the staples. How about table matches? Nope. We've got tables in the game, but no table match. Weird. Ladder match? Nope. We've got ladders in the game, but no ladder match. Weird. Steel cage? Nope. Hell in a Cell? Nope. Iron Man? Nope. Casket? Nope. Special referee? Nope. Royal Rumble? Nope. I Quit? Yep. I don't mean I Quit as in there's an I Quit match in this game, because there's not. I mean, of course there's not. I mean, I quit listing off these match types because there are 0 gimmick matches in WWF RAW. 0. That is unbelievable to me. We had steel cage matches in 1992 on the NES, for God's sake. But let's not dwell on it. Let's take a look at the season mode. I'll show that to you now. There is no fucking season mode. Jesus Christ, what is there to do in this game? No gimmick matches, no season mode. Look, my co-host over on GM Showdown, No Taxes Nigel Bravo. Nigel and I, every once in a while, would complain to each other that Fire Pro Wrestling World doesn't have enough gimmick matches. I mean, there's Steel Cage, Barbed Wire Deathmatch, Landmine Massacre, you got Royal Rumbles, you got MMA rules, you got kickboxing rules, there's a couple. We would complain that that wasn't enough. We wish there were more gimmick matches, more variety in the game. Good God, comparing Fire Pro Wrestling World to WWF RAW, Fire Pro is more than you could ever ask for. Let's look at some of the weirder aspects of WWF RAW. Why are the controls on the character select screen inverted? Pressing down on the D-pad moves the selection tool up. Why? Am I picking a wrestler or entering the code on a combination lock? We may not have any gimmick matches, but at least there's title match on the main menu. Want to simply win or defend a championship in exhibition? Well, that's not what this is. This isn't a title match at all. It's a gauntlet, an arcade ladder of sorts, which ends in a title match. Why is Intercontinental split into 2 words? I've never seen that before. Finishing title match unlocks that belt for Create a Wrestler mode, and you can wear the belts to the ring or use them as weapons, but is that what anybody wants? No. But at least finishing a title match gauntlet gives us this. Man, I'm so proud to be the champ title holder. Graphically, the game is nice. Jeff Hardy looks fantastic, as do The Rock and Stone Cold, amongst others. But what the fuck happened to Triple H? Who is this? That's not Triple H. That's not even Double H. At best, we are looking at Single H here. Oh my God. Let me get back to the tables. I said I would earlier. Let me talk about them now. I love tables. Here, enjoy a few table bumps. WWF RAW gives us tables to work with, which is great, but unfortunately they kinda suck. In every other wrestling game with tables, you Irish whip an opponent onto a table. They lay across it, you jump from the top rope and smash them through. In WWF RAW, you whip an opponent at a table and it breaks. It's a total crapshoot whether it's actually gonna break or not. I do like that the pieces of the table don't disappear though, and we can use the broken pieces as individual weapons. Alright, Raw gets points for that. And if you find a hat inside a weapon box, you can put it on your head. That's extra points too. And alright, we can attack opponents while they're in the middle of their entrance, which is another little something that had never been done before. 3 bonus points. Do you see what I mean with little details being the highlights of WWF RAW? The gameplay is lame, the pitiful lack of variety when it comes to match types and arenas is unbelievable. It's all about the details, man. But there is one area, there's one major positive where WWF RAW excels in a way that no wrestling game had prior. Creator Wrestler had existed for years at this point, and Raw's isn't too bad. Certainly not the worst I've ever seen. In the templates I found a guy that kinda looks like Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, and this guy looks like Dante from Devil May Cry for some reason. I noticed in the manual that whoever was writing this thing was not impressed with our creation. What is your jobber's full name? Jobber? Seriously? What a dick. Anyway, CAW is not what I'm talking about in regards to being awesome. I'm talking about create an entrance. Dance. The amount of control at our fingertips here is insane. Adjusting the individual color of every column of light inside the ramp allowed me to create a pulsing rainbow road looking walkway. Want to add fog? Do it. Adjust the color. Need pyro? What kind of pyro? No one had ever seen this level of customization when it came to entrances, and I'm still impressed by this today. Hey, this is a major last-second addition, as you can tell from the audio quality, but I want to put over WWF RAW real quick for, highlighting a number of guys that were never featured in WWE games prior. As you're seeing on screen, here's K-Quick. This was the first and maybe only appearance of Haku that I can remember. And hey, Just Incredible didn't pop up too many times. The roster, while not the best, still some bright spots. Had to shine a light on it. I owned WWF RAW on PC. It was one of the very, very few PC games that I ever owned. And I only had it because I found it at Kmart for like $7, by the way. So I brought WWF RAW home. I tried to play it on my old shitty PC with my old shitty keyboard, and it was unplayable. I tried, man. I really tried to have fun with it, as you do at that age, and it just couldn't be done. The game is barely responsive on a controller. It almost feels like it's unfinished. Now imagine trying to play it on a keyboard. Terrible. You know what's interesting is WWF RAW was the last WWF or WWE game to get a PC release all the way until WWE 2K15. Wow, that's a huge gap. And I also find it interesting that this was the last game released under the WWF banner. What a way to go out. And at the same time, what a way to come in, right? This was the first wrestling game ever released on the Xbox, and it's not very good at all. WWF RAW isn't the worst wrestling game I've ever played, but it's really not even worth playing at all. And you would think that with The Rock being the person who revealed the Xbox, that developer Anchor Inc. or at least publisher THQ would have taken the time to make sure that this game was awesome. This is like if Michael Myers revealed a brand new line of cameras, and the first movie they made with those cameras was Halloween 5. Alright, it's not that bad. Nothing deserves to be put in the same category as Halloween 5. In my research for this retrospective, I learned that WWF RAW's Chief Development Officer, Masahiro Onoguchi, explained to IGN why there were so few match types and gimmicks in the game. And by that I mean practically zero. He stated that WWF RAW was supposed to be a launch title for the Xbox, but, and I quote, "The game was supposed to be a launch title, but we didn't have all of the information about the Xbox's capabilities, so we weren't able to use all of the features of the hardware for this game like we wanted to. But we'll definitely be ready for the next version of the game." Or, to put it more bluntly, they wanted to make a launch game, but they were not considered important enough to get dev kits early enough to get to work, nor did they have any idea what to do with those tools once they had them in hand. Onoguchi went further. Rather than putting lots and lots of mediocre modes in the game, we wanted fewer well-done game modes. This excuse holds no water because the few modes they did include are mediocre. Mediocre at best. WWF RAW on the Xbox doesn't lay the SmackDown. It's not worthy of a WrestleMania main event, and at the end of the day, Xbox owners deserved better. 1 year later, in September of 2003, Anchor Inc. would try again with WWE RAW 2. Was this the game Xbox owners had been hoping for? Well, there's only one way to find out. Next time. Oh, there it is. That's my Triangle X Squared Circle retrospective of WWF RAW on the Xbox. Now, if you're pissed off at me about what I said, don't be pissed off at me. Be pissed off at Anchor Inc. And you know what? Tell me about a positive experience you had with this game down in the comments. I would love to read about it. Or if you had a negative experience, tell me about that too, because I would also love to read that. Next time out, we will indeed be looking at WWE RAW 2. There's no way it could possibly fall short again, right? Right? Hey, like I said, next time. Dan, thank you very much for watching, and one last time, if you like videos like this and you want to see more, please support me over on patreon.com/616entertainment. I try not to stuff it down your throat. I don't throw in 5 Patreon gimmicks across the video. That would be annoying, but maybe I should be more annoying. People who are more annoying have bigger Patreons than I do, so, you know, I guess I'm not a great businessman in that sense. I am a great businessman in the sense that I'm showing off a Paradise Patch t-shirt, which you can grab over on ProWrestlingTees.com/616entertainment. Now, that's a commercial. Dan, I love ya, and I will see you next time.